Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Banya Sharala of the Lions Den Camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing this truth in sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala, here in Jacksonville, Florida. Today I'll be coming out with a little lesson. And as you can see, it's an article. It's kind of lengthy, but I will only read the most important part of this. But nonetheless, it is talking about an intelligence leak that exposes the U.S. spying on adversaries and allies. And we all know how E get down, you know. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's go on down. Because it says intelligence leaks exposes U.S. spying on adversaries and allies. It says I'm gonna just read this little introduction. It says U.S. and European officials scrambled to understand how dozens of classified documents covering all manner of intelligence gathering had made their way online with little notice. And of course, this is the Heavenly Father's doing this. This is His power. This is His Spirit exposing Esau for who he really is. But let's continue. It says on Saturday, as U.S. officials and their foreign allies scrambled to understand how dozens of classified intelligence documents had ended up on the internet, they were stunned and occasionally infuriated at the extraordinary range of detail of detail. Hold on, this is. They were stunned and occasionally infuriated at the extraordinary range of detail the files exposed about how the United States spies on friends and foe alike. So basically, Esau got caught, you know, exposed, as the terminology goes, caught red-handed, doing things behind closed doors. Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel. Continuing, it says the documents, which appear to have come at least in part from the Pentagon, are marked as highly classified. They offer tactical information about the war in Ukraine, including the country's combat capabilities, according to one defense official. Many of the documents seem to have been prepared over the winter for General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and other senior military officials, but they were available to other U.S. personnel and contract employees with the requisite security clearances. So a lot of people had access to this information. The higher ups, and those who had a high security clearance. It says other documents include analysis from U.S. intelligence agencies about Russia and several other countries, all based on information gleaned from classified sources. This is the series of detailed briefings and summaries open a rare window on the inner workings of American espionage. Among other secrets, they appear to reveal where the CIA has recruited human agents privy to the closed-door conversations of the world leaders. Salaki. Eavesdropping that shows a Russian mercenary outfit tried to acquire weapons from a NATO ally to use against Ukraine, and what kinds of satellite imagery the United States uses to track Russian forces, including an advanced technology that appears barely, if ever, to have been publicly identified. So there you go. They spying on everybody. He keepeth not at home. He keepeth people unto himself. It says officials in several countries said that they were trying to assess the damage from the disclosures, and many were left wondering how they had gone unnoticed for so long. Photographs of at least a several Salakia, photographs of at least several dozen pages of highly classified documents, which looked to have been printed and then folded together into a packet, were shared on February the 28th and March 2nd on Discord, a chat platform popular with gamers. The documents were shared by a user server called Wow Mao. So they probably been hacked by someone probably right here in the United States. Who knows? But of course, you know how Esau get down. He'll probably try to blame China or Russia, but let's continue. It says some of the documents appear to be detailed Ukraine battlefield assessments prepared over the winter for senior Pentagon leaders, but officials only became aware that the documents were sitting on a public server around the time that the New York Times first reported the leak on Thursday, according to people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity to describe an unfolding investigation. Let's see. Senior Pentagon leaders restricted the flow of intelligence Friday in response to the revelations. Two U.S. officials said. One described the clampdown as unusually strict, and said it revealed a high level of panic among the Pentagon leadership. Yeah, because y'all doing tomfoolery, and the Lord done exposed you. It says a European intelligence official worried that if Washington restricts allies to access future intelligence, it could leave them in the dark. But they were doing that anyway. Many of the leaked documents are labeled no foreign, meaning they cannot be released to foreign nationals because it's some tomfoolery going on behind it. But others were cleared to be shared with close U.S. allies, including the Five Eyes alliance of the United States, Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. U.S. intelligence about British and Canadian activities is contained in some of the documents, suggesting that the fallout from the leaks will not be limited to the United States. It says we need to manage this well, both internally and externally, a second defense official said. There are a lot of institutions and agencies involved, and guess what? They all deal with America. So let's continue. I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'm going to grab some scriptures. It says, the Justice Department has opened an investigation into the leak. A spokeswoman for Discord, where the earliest known copies of the images were posted, declined to comment. The full extent of the leak was unclear. The second defense official said that what had appeared online was likely a result of a single disclosure from one tranche of documents, but officials were not yet certain of that. So the finish says the 50 pages reviewed by the Washington Post involved nearly every corner of the U.S. intelligence apparatus. The document describes the intelligence activities at the National Security Agency, the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, law enforcement agencies, and the National Reconnaissance Office, arguably the most secretive intelligence agency in the government, responsible for a multi-billion-dollar constellation of satellites. So, again, I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to keep going. This is the document. The documents primarily concern the war in Ukraine and demonstrate how the United States is making assessments about the state of conflict and where it is headed. The analysis informs major policy decisions by by the Biden administration, including what weapons to provide to Ukraine and how to respond to Russia's battlefield strategy, in which they can't respond to it because they don't know what to do because they're scared of Russia. It says, for instance, a February 23rd overview of fighting in Ukraine's Donbas region forecasts a grinding campaign of attrition by Russia. It's likely heading towards a stalemate, thwarting Moscow's goals to capture the entire region in 2023. And what they don't understand is a war of attrition, meaning who's ever coming and who's ever defending. Eventually, the ones that are defending will be worn down. Eventually, the war of attrition, meaning we'll say the aggressor and or the party that is on offense, they're gonna just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming until the party that is on defense basically wears down and can't fight back no more. And that's really what it is. It's a war of attrition. They're not going to be able to defend for much longer. They're not going to be able to do the tomfoolery that they've been doing for much longer because Russia is not going to stop. You're on Russia's doorstep. So now it's a war of attrition, meaning the Russians are going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. They've prepared for this for years. So no manner of sanctions, tariffs, any economic whatever is going to stop Russia. They're going to keep coming. That's what it means by a campaign of attrition. And in a war of attrition, there is no stalemate. One party will lose to the other party. That's how that works when it comes down to a war of attrition. Let's see. Okay, it's a pretty lengthy article. I'll put the link in the description. But without further ado, let's grab a couple. Let's get a few scriptures. This is Obadiah. So it's only verse 6. It says, "How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hid things sought up? And how is this possible? This is possible through the Heavenly Father. This is possible through the Spirit of Yahawashi Yahawashi. The exposing of the devil, the exposing of the tabernacles of Edom, or the border of wickedness and their wicked deeds. This is how this is exposed. This is how the secret things of Esau has been sought up. It is being brought forth by the Heavenly Father. That's why it took them so long to really get a handle on it. And now guess what? A vast, if not all, a major part of America's strategy and or how they do business has been compromised. And these other nations now know. See, America wants to know all the weak points of other countries, but don't want the other countries to know of its weak points. But these other countries are now starting to see that the most major weak point of America is the dollar. They know they starting to see if they drop the dollar, if they stop using the dollar and start using other currencies in the world, that devalues the dollar, it takes away the purchasing power, the economy here crashes. So that's how that goes. So how are the things of Esau searched out and the hidden, and how are his hidden things sought out? Through the power and spirit of Yahawashi Yahawashi. Through the truth. That's how. Let's continue. I'm gonna just read verse 5 of Habakkuk chapter 2. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." So he transgresses by his wine, by his words, by his philosophies, by his beliefs and doctrines, by his actions. He's a proud man, and this place is very proud. It thinks that it can't, the people that run this country, the people that are in this country think America cannot be taken down, but that couldn't be further from the truth. According to the scriptures, America will be destroyed. Period. Whether you agree or don't agree, it don't matter. The Lord don't care what you think or how you feel. He's not governed by the thoughts and feelings of man. But again, and Esau, he doesn't keep it home. Again, being Esau being exposed about spying on adversaries and allies. That's again, that's Esau not keeping it home, as well as him physically having military bases in other lands. It says, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. So Esau can't be satisfied. Everywhere Esau step his foot, he leaves destruction. He caused some kind of problem, and he can't be satisfied. And he gathered unto himself all people and nations, to for control, because he got a God complex. He wants to be like, hey, come over here, do everything we want you to do. But that's how that goes. So Esau has been exposed. My last point, verse 16 of Habakkuk chapter 2. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also. Let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahawah's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So Esau was filled with shameful glory. Now all the things that Esau has done with America being the spearhead, being the hammer of the earth, Esau is now filled with shame now. So it says, drink thou also what? Meaning it's time for you, it's time for Esau, Salakia, to feel the fire as well. It's time for Esau to have that recompense. And it says, what? Let thy foreskin be uncovered, meaning be exposed. Let the things that Esau has done in the dark, that he tries to hide, be exposed and brought to the forefront. And guess what? It says, the cup of the Lord Yahawah's right hand shall be turned unto thee. And that cup of the Lord's right hand means his judgment, his anger, his indignation. And it says, what? And shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So shameful spewing. These other nations are now laughing at America, mocking America, exposing America, and letting everywhere else in the world know how America gets down, how Esau gets down. These other nations are tired of these Edomites, and they're done. So again, this is just another. I won't say another. This is just a further exposition or exposing. So like I think exposition is the wrong word. Exposing or further exposing of the inner workings of the borders of wickedness and the tabernacles of Edom. So again, let me see if I can find anything else real quick, Shalakia. Okay, now let's go back a few. Let's go back a little bit more. Shalakia, bear with me. So like, let me